So hi, it's Gretchen. On this watercolor today, I'm starting out with a sketch. I got an inspiration from some wildflower pictures and decided I'd give it a try. I'm using a Statler Lumograph Aquarelle pencil to just do a light sketch. Nice thing about this pencil is it's water soluble, so the edges will cause shadows. And then as I go on, I pulled out some Daniel Smith watercolor tubes. As you can see up there in the upper left corner, they're pretty gruesome looking. They're very old, and so it was just pull out some colors, mix them up, and I'm doing a background wash. I got the back area outside of the flowers wet and kind of did this kind of light green wash, different colors. And then I'm starting in on these flowers. These flowers started with the center because the wash is still wet and I didn't want to run over in it, have it bleed yet. And so I'm playing around just with the middle part. And now I've added the color. These flowers, the main flowers, are a purple. So I'm using the Daniel Smith. I don't know what the color is, honestly. I just grabbed these tubes and was mixing a blue and a red to get a purple, and then different intensities and whatnot. And you can see the Aquarelle Stadler pencil does kind of help with shadowing and making an outline for that. It bleeds, I mean, it dissolves really nicely. It activates with water. And this is just going on. I'm basically working on the first layer of this piece. This is something I have not really tried before. So here I am continuing with the background. I'm adding some flowers on. Like I said, this is just the first layer. I have not done that type of work with watercolor. I'm very new to watercolor and to drawing and sketching. As of a couple years ago, I didn't even own a sketchbook. I'm a photographer, but I've found that sketching and drawing and playing around with this kind of just helps me in a lot of ways. I find it expands my creativity. Now here is where I tried something, and I tried to add in a different kind of darker, like flower or bush, and it didn't work. So you can actually erase with watercolor, which I did. You add more water, you lift it up, and it worked. And then I decided to, this is supposed to be like a wildflower field. So I'm going kind of abstract here and throwing in some different colors, and that's the first layer. Okay, now I'm on the second layer. And I'm using Derwent Inktense pencils for this, and they are a water activated pencil too. They're like a watercolor ink in pencil form, and they are really like Inktense for their thing. So what this is allowing me to do is to do some change up of kind of intensify the colors, to do some more shading. At least for me, it gives me a little more control because I am not that skilled with watercolor in itself, and shading is a little bit tricky for me. So I'll spend a fair amount of time at this point working on shading and adding in colors and getting it to where I want it to be on this. I think I used the violet and the indigo, the sea blue, yellow and orange and whatnot. And I also ended up using the green in the Inktense to make some stems, which should be coming up fairly soon. Oh, nope, I'm still going back to decided I wanted that flower to be more purple. So again, it was trying to delineate the petals in some way, have some come forward, some go back. All of this is practice to me. Things I've not really spent a lot of time or trying, so I thought I would consciously make an effort to do that. I kind of like the background and the scrabbliness of it the way it is, with that being like a wild meadow field, or I don't know, a bunch of sticker bushes around here. But there it is. The center of the purple flowers was not bright enough for me. I wasn't feeling that. And then the little orange poppies had gone all kinds of where. The bachelor buttons, the blue ones, they were kind of fun. You know, bachelor buttons look like droopy daisies. And so here I think I'm adding in some white to try to get some highlight in it. I had decided that I wanted the light source to come in from the upper right. I don't know if it was consistent all the way across at all, but I was giving it a whirl. And there here I'm adding stems, leaves, just clustered of leaves different places, and I added some leaves onto the stems and different kind of things that way. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to let this second layer dry too. I tend to hold a paintbrush and the pencil at the same time if I'm not holding one in my mouth. So yeah, there's the highlights going in, and then yeah. Every once in a while I would remind myself to sit back and take a look at it. That time to step back and take a look. Yeah. And here's some finishing highlights and shine. Now, I'm not so sure this was the wise thing to do. This is where maybe I need to learn to stop before I take that next step. But I have these kind of iridescent, shiny watercolors. The ones on the upper left above that in the small little thing are handmade watercolors I got off Etsy. I cannot remember the name where I got them. And then the other ones are a group I got someplace on Amazon. Has 3 different sets of kind of shiny. So what I was doing here was I was giving it a little bit of shine and sheen here and there, and a little bit of extra on it. And I end up, it helped me, because it's almost like here in the Northwest, oftentimes the flowers have a lot of shine to them because they're wet. Not in the past couple weeks, but they're oftentimes very wet. And you get that moisture and the dew on them in the morning. And so I was kind of trying to go for that, I would tell you, but no, I just kind of like shiny stuff. If truth be told, I just wanted to try the iridescent watercolors and see how they went. They're very transparent, and most of these watercolors were. The Daniel Smiths are real transparent that I used, and the Inktense gave me a little more opacity, so that was able to get that blue and the orange for those. But then the green was able to get all those different color greens with the Daniel Smith and and now it's drying time, and I'm finishing with a little bit of adding some water in and smoothing out. I got too much shine on it. I'm clearing that and blending that out, and I think I'm going to be done. I'm going to call it done, I think. Yeah. Yep, calling it done. Thanks.